last week's Raw was one that made even me, even the eternal optimist, Spaz Phoenix, kind of roll his eyes and say, eh. And then, conversely, we turned a really big corner with the amazing debut of, for me, Wednesday Night SmackDown. Could we continue that momentum into the Royal Rumble go-home show?
Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and then open the make.
What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. And before I get to anything else, let me answer my own question. I loved this show. Oh yes. Now, a couple little programming notes before I go on into Raw. Time is ticking down, time is ticking down, time is ticking down. OKAYFABE and I will be doing Tackle this Wednesday. If you have questions specific to the Royal Rumble, drop them in the comment section of any one of my videos with the hashtag SPOK. If you have questions for my Q&A in general, go back to Ask the Phoenix in November, put them in the comment section down in the box below there. You have until, ironically, the 25th is the night of the Royal Rumble. You have until the Royal Rumble to drop your more generic questions there. And if you go back one video, you will see a fan interaction video that I put up on Friday, the results of which will also be talked about during Tackle. Now, another little programming note, I will be doing Tackle on Wednesday. Tomorrow, all things being equal, I apparently have the dubious distinction of being interviewed on the OKAYFABE Random Wrestling podcast, and if I can get them before this video goes up, all the links to that will be down in the box below. Should be a good time. I really encourage you, not just because I'm going to be on there and talking to Connor, but I really do encourage you guys to check out Connor's podcast in general. He's doing good stuff. I know last week he interviewed the guys from the In the Ropes show, who are a hell of a lot more entertaining than the Off the Ropes show. I'm just putting that one out there. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get into this week's Raw. The Raw for January 19th, 2015. The Raw reunion. The Raw go-home show to the Royal Rumble that everybody's been moaning and dreading, etc., etc., etc. And if that's not enough things to have in one show, we start the event. We start the night with a Martin Luther King Jr. Video package, you know, highlighting the achievements of African Americans, etc., etc. It was well done. It was well done. WWE with respectful stuff like this is always pretty good, but it's I don't really have anything to say about it, but it was good. It was nice. It was. There's nothing much else to say about it, but we start the show with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman on the microphone, and we're thinking, okay, great. Another Paul Heyman promo. Paul Heyman gets as far as the "my name is" gets cut off by Brock Lesnar, who doesn't take the microphone very often, and most people say, oh, thank God he doesn't take the microphone, but he was pretty good. I'm not here to talk, I'm here to fight. Calls out Rollins, tells him he has 10 seconds. Obviously that's answered by the Authority, or at least Triple H. Triple H comes out immediately, kind of condescending, but kind of trying to keep everything on the level. I know why you're upset. Rollins embarrassed you last week, but let's be honest, you would have done the same thing, and let's be even more honest, you suplexed him first. Let's keep calm, and we'll go out to the back, me and Paul will have a business discussion, and we'll get you a steak, which I thought was, it's great. Brock Lesnar being pretty much the opposite of Daniel Bryan, let's get him the opposite of a vegan meal. Brock looks at Triple H right in the face, which I liked. Says, are you here to fix this or are you here to fight? Stephanie comes out and says, let's let cooler heads prevail. She's backed up by Show and Kane. She says, these guys are here to make sure you make the right decision, Brock. And then Rollins shows up on the Tron. He says, you're always 2 steps behind, and calls him a caveman and tells him to be patient. He says, you can lay your hands on me all you want this Sunday, but this Sunday is also going to be when I take your title off of you. Heyman says, talking to the Authority, says, you need to fix this or my monster Brock Lesnar will. Brock will win on Sunday, yada, yada, yada. A bunch of great, intriguing, interesting characters in the ring and on the Tron, and of course we have to be interrupted by John Cena, don't we? We're all, just talking to Lesnar, and Rollins says, I don't have to talk to you guys, we're going to settle our shit on Sunday. The Authority, you keep putting things in my way, keep putting them there, it lights a fire in me, yada, yada, yada. I'll take on your mercenary, I'll take on your protege, and I'll beat them both in one night. Typical. I hate to say this because the rest of the segment is great, but it's a typical John Cena go-home show promo. Do whatever you want, I will win. I'm going to win Sunday. I'm going to be the champion again. I'm surprised that he has not yet, at least to my knowledge, referenced Ric Flair and the Ric Flair record that he's about to break if he wins the title again. Maybe that was out of respect because Ric Flair was on the show tonight. I don't know. I'll do anything to get those three guys back because I still have passion and I still have fire. Triple H and Stephanie don't have fire anymore. They're just a pile of ash. That's right. They're ash holes. I know people just say it for impact, but the people that legitimately say that Roman Reigns is worse than John Cena, look at promos like this. I'm just saying, and I'm going to get to Roman later. Stephanie cuts a big, long... I don't want to say rambling in a bad way because it was good, but it did ramble on a little bit. This is Cena's turning point. He used to inspire people. He lied to you fans and brought back the authority. We're here because of John Cena. The other three guys lost their jobs because of John Cena. No one wants to cheer you, John, because you're not the man you used to be. Rollins chirps in from the Titantron, which I love. You're a loser. Nobody wants to cheer for a loser or a failure. I beat you on Raw. I'll beat you at the Rumble. Everybody knows you're a failure. Everyone knows you're a failure but you, and your time is up. I love whenever anybody, any of the heels that John Cena deals with, they use that line from his song, that whole, your time is up, my time is now, because the irony of that is he's been around for 10 years. It's been his time for 10 years. So if anything, his own music is reiterating the thoughts of anybody else that's trying to make any headway in the WWE. And I love that they use that. I love that they're not shy to use that in promos, etc. because it works and it makes sense. Cena says, I'm going to rip your mouth off your face, which sounds weird, obviously. And then, okay, I can't read my own writing. It's one of those nights, guys. And when I win, I suggest that we put a stipulation on the match on Sunday that when I win, you give the three guys their jobs back. Triple H reminds him that last week he failed at a match with the same stipulation. He says, I'll put that stipulation on your match tonight. If you win your match tonight... Okay, he doesn't give him a match tonight. Sorry, I'm misspeaking again. It's only the second page, guys. I'm suggesting a match tonight. The match is... if you win, we'll hire the three guys back. If you lose, you lose your title shot at the Royal Rumble. But I'm not going to tell you that you have this match. I'm going to leave it up to the WWE Universe. WWE Universe, you guys choose whether you want John Cena to put his title match at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble against the line for the chance to bring back the three guys that got fired. It's weird. It's like, here's a stipulation match that we're announcing to you, but we're not going to tell you if it's happening when you know it is. But, okay. Okay, here comes the Daniel Bryan portion of the evening, and I'm gonna try and be nice about this. I'm gonna try, like I did on SmackDown, to explain why I think Daniel Bryan is no-selling, why I think Daniel Bryan is a mess right now, and why I think Daniel Bryan's fucking a lot of things up, okay? Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. Okay, these guys have history. Wyatt beat Bryan back at the Royal Rumble last year, but, everybody's still all brokenhearted about that, so we have Wyatt versus Bryan. We play up their history. It's all good. It's all wonderful. Wyatt overpowers Bryan in the early going, which makes sense because he's bigger. Makes Bryan miss a lot of moves because Bryan's faster, but Wyatt can simply be cerebral and move out of the way. Bryan... As soon as Wyatt goes outside, Bryan does one of his typical, body splashes from the top turnbuckle to the outside, and botches it. And when I say botches it, I mean he came about this close to jumping over Bray Wyatt and almost caught Bray Wyatt in the face with one of his shins. That's not a body splash, Bryan, just saying. Kane comes out to add a little extra element to the match, because we're reminded that Kane and he have a match on SmackDown with Daniel Bryan's Royal Rumble shot on the line, which is designed to get my hopes up, and it will, of course, fail because Supergoat has to win. But we go to commercial break. When we come back, Bryan drops Wyatt in the corner. I don't know how particularly. Wyatt clotheslines Bryan over the rope. And here's where we start the story. Daniel Bryan, the big sob story we're hearing about Daniel Bryan, he's been out for a bunch of months with a bad neck, a bad head, bad shoulder, bad upper body area. So, surgically repaired neck. Okay, surgically repaired neck. This is the linchpin of Daniel Bryan's heroic, sad comeback story, underdog, Rey Mysterio version 2.0 bullshit story, right? Clotheslines Bryan over the top rope, working the neck, working the head. He lands awkwardly, working the neck, working the head. Bryan eats guardrail, head first, working the head, working the neck. Bray puts him into the ring, gets a near fall. He puts a nerve hold on him in the middle of the ring, which isn't the most aggressive thing in the world, but it does make sense. Your shoulder is connected to your neck, so he's working the muscles of the shoulder and the neck. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. A huge mid-ring crossbody by Bray Wyatt, and it's a good one. You know it. Bray Wyatt just sort of throws himself across the ring. It's fantastic. Traps Bryan's head between his boot and the bottom rope and just sort of steps on it. Again, working the neck, working the head. Choking him in the ropes, working the neck. Elbow to the throat, working the neck. Rides a headlock for a good long time, loses it, and locks it in again. And how does Daniel Bryan fight out of this? He fights out of it with a stunner, or a modified neckbreaker stunner type maneuver, to Wyatt. Now, would this not... guys, I'm trying to be calm here. I really am. But would a stunner or a neckbreaker stunner type maneuver not impact the shoulder that's been worked on all match, the neck that's been worked on all match, and would that not affect your head? Okay. So Bray Wyatt, as he does, responds with a ridiculous lariat clothesline that turns Bryan inside out. Not only is that impact to the chest, neck, head area, but he falls back on his head, again working the head. Running senton bomb by Wyatt is always good. Wyatt counter. Okay, we come back from break. We see an exclusive from the app to see what we missed during the commercial break, and it's Daniel Bryan doing his running knee in the corner and failing and getting his leg caught in the turnbuckle so that he falls on his head and neck. Headbutt to the... Wyatt hits Bryan with a headbutt to the face in the corner, which is, again, going to work the head, work the neck. The psychology of Bray Wyatt in this match is on fucking point. This should be a title match. This should be the night that Bray Wyatt walks away with the WWE title. But no. Literally, as if somebody told Daniel Bryan, okay, it's time to super up, Daniel Bryan has a comeback for no reason. Hits Bray Wyatt with some of the silly kicks. And if you don't know what I mean by the silly kicks, I'm not going to explain in every video. Go back to my SmackDown review. I will tell you in great detail what I refer to as the Daniel Bryan silly kicks. Hurricane Rana from the top rope, which makes no sense, because when you hit a Hurricane Rana, you yourself come down on your shoulder area, which would jar your neck and your head. More silly kicks, and just to be the bane of my existence, Bray Wyatt escapes to the outside, and Daniel Bryan does a suicide dive, which is a head-first maneuver, which would destroy your head, neck, and shoulders that Bray Wyatt has been working on the whole match. Kane interferes, Bryan eats turnbuckle, thanks to Bray Wyatt, working the head and neck once again, and Sister Abigail does get the win, but this is bullshit. With everything that Daniel Bryan did in this match, the Kane interference at the end is an insult to Bray Wyatt, and this... Not only can Daniel Bryan not sell, they're making his offense offensive. And that's all I'm going to say about this match. Was bullshit. Bray Wyatt brought a 5-star effort tonight on Raw. This is why somebody like a Bray Wyatt or a Dean Ambrose or even a Seth Rollins or anybody else other than Bryan with this bullshit booking should win the Royal Rumble. Anyways, I'm going to move on, because that is really and truly the only bad part about this show. Let's move on. We see Triple H in the back, catching up with Hall, catching up with Nash. They tell him he needs to drop the suit and delegate so that he can come out and party tonight. And then HBK comes from the other side of the screen. He says, "No, you need to bring back Cena's friends and bug them while they're here instead of while they're gone, so you can come and have a drink with us, Vince Jr." And then they start talking about where's X-Pac. You know, he was really he really wanted to be here tonight. He was bugging all of us. We invited him. Where is he? And then you see what is quite possibly the best thing fucking ever. X-Pac Dow. Damien Sandow dressed as X-Pac. And real X-Pac having a crotch chop off. Which is fine, because you're seeing Damien Sandow with all these friggin' legends. It's a sea of NWO and DX shirts, and then Miz interrupts and says, no. He looks at X-Pac, he says, "That's my stunt double, not yours." Pulls Damien Sandow away, but then he comes back, he tries to do the Wolfpack thing to any of them, and Nash looks like he's going to do it, and then just... And it's great. And I love, you know what, people might laugh at Miz, people might laugh at Damien Sandow. They are getting a chance to shine, even if it's in a comedy segment, with legends like this that have reshaped... I don't want to sound cliche here, but between DX and the NWO, who reshaped wrestling more? Unless you want to throw in a name like Austin or Hogan, the fact that these guys get to share the screen, or share screen time with these guys, is fantastic in my opinion. So if they will... I'm a big Miz fan. You guys want to laugh at me because the Miz got made fun of tonight, I'll laugh all the way to the bank. I think it's great. We have the Royal Rumble Legends panel. And isn't this an auspicious panel? This panel consists of Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, and Byron Saxton. Oh yes. They come down. The first thing they say right off the bat, let's talk about current events. What do you guys think about the John Cena app vote tonight? If you guys were on the app right now, how would you vote? Shawn Michaels says yes. Flair says no. Hogan says yes. Not a big thing, but they're keeping it relevant, which is kind of nice. They talk about the Rumble match. They talk about Flair's history in the Rumble, Shawn Michaels' history in the Rumble, Hulk Hogan's history in the Rumble. And then they are each asked to make a pick who they think is going to win the Rumble. Shawn Michaels says Bray Wyatt. Hulk Hogan breaks my heart and says Daniel Bryan. Ric Flair says Dean Ambrose. It's all good. Here's what I like about this. And I know a lot of guys, a lot of people in the YWC, I should say, not just guys, girls, whoever else, they don't like when these guys, these old guys, these legends, these guys that aren't performing anymore come back out and they have a long talking bit. But here's the thing. They talked about themselves just enough to remind the audience why their opinion holds weight. And then they gave their opinions on the current product. They gave their opinions on the current John Cena situation. They gave their opinions on the current Rumble match coming up this Sunday. And they gave a little bit of a rub to Wyatt, Bryan, and Ambrose. No problem with that whatsoever. Of course, it can't just end there. No segment like this can end like that. Big Show interrupts. He comes down, he says, I don't see legends. It's not your time. You all didn't pick me because you're all jealous of me. I beat Hogan my first day in the wrestling business to win his world championship. I took Flair's spot when I came to WCW, which was a little more vague. And Shawn Michaels, we all know you left WWE because I showed up. I see 3 washed-up has-beens begging for attention, and I'm ashamed of all 3 of you. I'm going to win the Rumble. Nobody can throw me over the top rope. I swear to God, as soon as he said nobody can throw me over the top rope, I will admit, for the guys that are putting out the hashtags we want Cesaro, etc. After what happened at WrestleMania last year, right at that moment, I would have loved and instantly face-turned Cesaro to come out and punk him out, but it didn't happen. And he says it's time to go out to the old folks' home and, you know, starts getting in everybody's face. Flair's all up for it. Flair starts shaking and jiving and strutting and pulling his jacket off and tries to hit him with a couple shots to the face. Obviously, Big Show comes back with a weapon of mass destruction. Big punch knocks out Flair, which brings out Roman Reigns. Crazy right hands and clotheslines the Big Show out of the ring. Didn't say anything. Nobody can cry about his promos this week. Everything was good. So the old guys came in, they talked about themselves a little bit, gave us a bit of a history lesson, got us ready for the Rumble this Sunday, boosted up John Cena, because that's what you do, and contributed to another mid-card feud in Roman Reigns versus The Big Show. No problem with this whatsoever. The app vote, according to the WWE Universe, 85% of the voting WWE Universe want John Cena to have this match tonight, to fight for the 3 guys to get their jobs back. Cena cuts another very Cena hoorah, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna hustle and be loyal and show respect, and I didn't care to write any of his promo down. This is the honest to God truth. What I will talk about in excess is Wade Barrett versus Dean Ambrose. Non-title match, which is fine, because I love the fact that Dean Ambrose has had instant and recent contact with both mid-card champions. I like that he had a bit of a conflict with Rusev. He could always get reacquainted with the US title, or he could have a first-time run with the IC title. Neither one of those would hurt my feelings at all. Sorry guys, my chair's doing a thing. Aggressive chain wrestling to start. 2 tackles by Ambrose and Flair chops in the corner for Barrett. Barrett brawls back. Ambrose boots Barrett in the head. Barrett kicks Ambrose in the throat and then in the face. I don't know if the throat thing was a botch, because pretty legitimate like eye bulge when that happened. But he kicks him in the throat, rears back, and then kicks him in the side of the head. It's a good combination of stuff. Clothesline and mounted punches by Ambrose. Barrett grounds Ambrose and rides a headlock. Knees to the gut, knees to the gut, knees to the gut, and back to the headlock. Ambrose boots Barrett in the face and hits a running bulldog, standing elbow drop, and gets a near fall for not Rollins, Ambrose. We will see Rollins later on. There's a little bit of a spoiler. More flare chops by Ambrose, and then his knee gives out. See? Daniel Bryan, who can't sell the injuries that happened to him 30 seconds ago, this guy is selling a knee from, what, 2 weeks ago? Still selling. Great. Ambrose, in his crazy, loopy state of mind, tries to go to the top rope. Barrett crotches Ambrose on the top turnbuckle, tries to pick him up from there for the wasteland, which gets countered into dirty deeds, and Ambrose gets the win. Which is cool, because if they chose at any given point in time, they could use this to spearhead Ambrose into an IC title feud, and that does not hurt my feelings again whatsoever. They've brought back Royal Rumble by the numbers, all the videos that they come out with all the different statistics. This is how many people have fought in the Rumble. These are the people that hold records. These are how many people have ever seen the Rumble ever, and this is how many people bought popcorn from the vending machines and all that fun stuff. It's all good. It's a neat little thing. Like, it doesn't really do anything to build the show, but it shows that Rumble has a history, and big numbers impress a lot of people, whatever. The New Day, Big E, and Kofi Kingston, because Xavier Woods apparently has a problem with his ankle, versus Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, which is a nice, neat little feud they got going on right now. And it's a series of this move happened and this move happened and this. It was kind of detached and kind of random, but Big E and Kofi Kingston, as I say, versus Kidd and Cesaro. Kidd starts with a low drop kick on Big E. Kofi drop kicks Tyson Kidd. Cesaro hits a bunch of uppercuts on Kofi. There's a suplex cross-body double team by Kidd and Cesaro on Kofi. Kofi takes the brunt of the abuse in this match, I gotta say. Kidd rides a headlock for a long time. Cesaro tags in and owns him with more uppercuts. The Cesaro swing drop kick combination on Kofi Kingston. Cesaro mounts Kofi Kingston from behind with massive forearms to the back of the head, which is both really, really... It's kind of sloppy looking in a good way. It's not a nice, neat little punch. It's just wham! It's just using his arm like a club, more or less, to the back of the head. And it's nice. And it leads right into a sleeper. Damage the neck and then work on it. Some psychology, which if we could just pass that on to somebody, yeah. But here's the deal. Here is the deal. Cesaro has... I hate this ending. Cesaro has Kofi over his shoulder, staggers backwards, Cesaro hits his partner in the head with Kofi Kingston's feet, and that's enough of a distraction for Kofi to roll him up for a quick victory. Don't get me wrong, I still like the New Day. I think they're hilarious. I like the team of Kidd and Cesaro. Either team winning this wouldn't have hurt my feelings whatsoever. I don't mind that the New Day won, but this is a shitty way to end the match. It was a great match. It was short, and like I say, each individual, it didn't particularly flow, which made it interesting to watch. It looked like each move was an incident on its own rather than a chain of events. If I can... Why? Really? Just why? But yeah, good match. Kind of a shitty ending, but whatever. We get the announcement that Daniel Bryan versus Kane on SmackDown this Wednesday for me, Thursday for my American friends, is no DQ. Keeping in mind, once again, that Daniel Bryan, if he loses this match next Thursday or Wednesday, whenever you watch SmackDown, he will lose his spot in the Rumble. WWE needs to stop teasing me with that idea. The NWO comes out. Now, there's a couple things that are funny about this. First of all, I know Hogan's already been out. I know Hogan's already been out once already, and he's had his time to be on TV. I get that, I do. And you don't want to overexpose him, and I get that. But when you say that the NWO is coming up next, and you come back from the commercial break, and the NWO that you see is Hall, Nash, and Sean Waltman without Hulk Hogan. Black and white NWO without Hulk Hogan is like a Whopper without the meat patties, is it not? Not only that, but they introduced them as Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and X-Pac. Which is funny, because to my knowledge, and my knowledge of WCW isn't perfect, but in his WCW NWO time, Sean Waltman was still known as Six, wasn't he? But he's out there. The other guys are their jeans, t-shirts. He's out there in the full, oversized NWO hoodie, oversized NWO sweatpants, like the whole gimmick, and it's just great. Hall comes out into Survey Time, which of course gets a big pop. Nash cuts a promo on WWE. saying that the NWO single-handedly created the Monday Night Wars, and you can see that on the WWE Network for $9.99. We made Vince so crazy that he had to create DX, he had to create Austin, he had to create the whole Attitude Era. Let's be honest, we're responsible for everything that is great in this business. And then Sean Waltman cut a little bit of a promo to add to that, but it was mostly just yelling, as X-Pac used to do, which is fine. They are interrupted by the Ascension, to which my grin immediately goes like this. He welcomes them to the reunion sarcastically. He says he doesn't see legends, he sees 3 old dogs that need to be put down. There's no tag team better than us, especially one from WCW. Fucking love it. JBL finally gets up, because JBL's been running these guys down for weeks now about them mentioning the LOD, the Powers of Pain, the Demolition and all that. And he says, I'm tired of this. I thought this might happen. Rah. I saw him get up, and I saw that under his white shirt that there was a black shirt underneath with a little bit of white on it. Immediately I thought JBL was going to become a one-night member of the NWO, which would have been cool in and of itself. But he says, you know what, if you guys think you're the best tag team ever, I've got another legend that I called that I was able to get here tonight, and we'll show you what real legends do, or something to that effect. And of course he's referring to Ron Simmons, aka Farouk. The APA music hits, Ron Simmons comes out. And then... then, if my grin isn't like wrapped around my ears at this point, the next set of music, and oh, you didn't know? Oh, yes. And he starts talking about, you know, we got thoroughbreds, and we got racehorses, and we got old dogs. Who invited the jackasses? And then they all proceed to beat up the Ascension, and it's great. The Outlaws, the NWO, and the APA all stand tall. For some reason, X-Pac takes off his NWO hoodie and has got a DX shirt on underneath, so I guess there's one more historical group represented there, which is great and wonderful, and this will carry on later tonight. Just give it a second. Triple H and Stephanie announced that Cena will face Rollins and Big Show and Kane, and we will be at ringside, so you got to assume J&J Security will be there too. Alicia Fox and Summer Rae versus Paige and Natalya Neidhart with the Bellas on commentary, as we announce that Paige and Nattie are taking on the Bellas this Sunday. No problem with this whatsoever. They've been building to this. I know people don't like to acknowledge build in the Divas division, and people are shitting on the pairing of Paige and Nattie, even though storyline-wise it makes sense. Total Divas-wise it makes sense if you watch that. And if you look at this match now and how they've built to it, it makes total sense. Oh, yes. Paige and Nattie hit a double suplex on Summer. Paige hits those wicked jumping headbutts that she does on Summer, ... a lot. Nattie hits a leg drop on Summer that really ends up being more of like the heel of her boot to the face, which kind of looks like it could be botchy. Nattie needs to stop botching. I think she fucked up Nikki's nose last week sometime. I think I mentioned that in one of my videos. Summer hits a nice spin kick on Nattie, which is nice. A bridge suplex by Fox and a slam by Fox show that she is improving as well. Paige hits multiple clotheslines, a super kick, and then Nattie holds up Summer for another super kick, and the PTO on... not on Summer Rae, on Alicia Fox. Paige hits multiple clotheslines to Alicia Fox and a super kick, and then Nattie picks up Alicia Fox for another super kick. PTO gets locked in, which is nice. Maneuver we haven't seen in a long ass time, and I love it. Paige and Nattie get the win. Everybody goes home happy. Another match that gets announced for Royal Rumble. This one is for the kickoff. The New Day, all 3 of them, versus Adam Rose, Kid, and Cesaro. Now everybody's questioning once again the pairing of Kid, Cesaro, and Rose. We've been building. Here's the blow off, just like the Divas. Give it time. Even things that don't make sense will make sense eventually. Rusev versus R-Truth is a squash that we really don't need to talk about. Rollins and Lesnar have a little bit of a face-off backstage. He says, I hope you beat up John Cena tonight for free, and I'll go beat you up on Sunday because I'm a prize fighter. Which is a really, really good point if you think about it. Jey Uso versus The Miz. And I'm sorry, guys, I love The Miz, but this whole thing with the Usos is getting tired. It's announced that the Usos are taking on Miz and Mizdow this Sunday for the Tag Team Championships, and that's all good. Hopefully my boys can get their belts back. Mounted punches and a running boot to Jay's face, a back and a neck breaker, and a corner clothesline, all by The Miz, all on Jay, while Jay gets no offense in, which is weird, because it's one of those is he playing possum type thing. Jay avoids the skull-crushing finale, and Miz gets posted in the corner. Decent little spot. It's very, because of how the skull crushing finale starts, it's very easy to duck down and make somebody eat post, which is fine. But the way Jey wins the match is when Miz has been posted, he goes to the outside and super kicks Miz in the head against the post, which is a heel move, is it not? It's a decent looking move, and it was a good way to put a punctuation point on the match. Don't get me wrong. But kicking somebody's head into a steel post is a really heel move, is it not? And then you get Superfly Splash, and Jey Uso gets the win. The babyfaces have some momentum going into the pay-per-view. I have no problem with that whatsoever, other than, are the Usos turning heel? Because if they are, that's cool. Little side note, I just heard the Usos recently on the Talk is Jericho podcast, and if you guys like the Usos and are fans of the Usos, go check out the interview. It's really interesting. Talking about the history, talking about The Rock and Umaga and Yokozuna and, of course, Roman Reigns and all that sort of thing. We don't cut to the back, but we cut to footage of Hogan in the back earlier talking up John Cena. And yeah. And then it is announced, and this puts a big smile on my face once again, at the Royal Rumble, the Ascension versus the New Age Outlaws. Oh yes! I don't expect, like, I sit here with the biggest smile on my face, guys, and it's not because I think this is going to be a technical mat classic, and it's not because, you know, I'm one of those guys that thinks the Attitude Era is coming back or anything like that, but it's the New Age Outlaws, guys. That's it. That's all. The one thing I will say, and this is something I noticed, and this is something I mentioned on Twitter, for those of you who follow me during Raw, during SmackDown, hashtag tweet along with Spaz, there's no one-on-one matches at the Royal Rumble. There's a 6-man tag. There is a Divas tag. There is a Tag Team Championship match. There is now this match. And there's the Triple Threat match for the title. And then the Rumble match. There's not a single, unless they add something on the fly on Sunday, which I don't think they can do because the Rumble's a long match and we're already kind of cramped for time. There's not a single one-on-one match on this card, which I don't mind per se. Lots and lots of people getting on the card, lots and lots of people getting exposure. I love that. But it's just interesting that not a single match on this card is one-on-one, unless they throw in Rusev squashing somebody or Barrett having a very brief Intercontinental Championship defense, but I don't think that's going to happen. The Divas title is sucked up in a tag match, and as I say, the World title match is a triple threat. So, put it down in the box below. What do you guys think of that? I really don't have any thoughts other than I just realized it as we sort of came to the end of Raw. Cena versus the Authority, I'm not going to say much about this. It's a 3-man beatdown for a long time. Cena fails to slam the Big Show. It's a typical spot. Tries for the AA. Gets squashed. A few good exchanges with Rollins. I'll give him that. Rollins has the sweetest sliced bread number 2 in this match. A couple of BS comebacks from Cena. A nice spear by Big Show on the outside on Cena. He's about to get owned, and Sting appears first on the Titantron, and then in the rampway itself. Cena uses that to get the quick win. Sting disappears. Triple H is on the he's not on the ramp. He's on the announce table. There we go. JBL, while Triple H is just kind of losing his shit on the announce table, says we're witnessing a moment in time, and this is where I think, you know, we're going to see a face-off between Sting and Triple H. But we don't. Sting doesn't come back. Triple H sits there and screams for Sting for a while. But it doesn't actually happen. So JBL sort of put the cart before the horse, declaring this as a special moment in time. But instead of Sting, we get Brock Lesnar, who comes down and dismantles the whole Authority. And that's how we end Raw. Dismantles Rollins. Show and Kane try to stop him. Rollins gets owned, Kane gets owned quickly, and because it is what you do if you want to make a powerful statement, he F5s the Big Show, and it's convincing. Like, let's be real. Obviously, he doesn't go after Triple H because it's the boss and whatever. But here's Heyman grinning like the Cheshire cat that just ate the canary, holding up the belt. Lesnar standing strong as the only guy left in the ring going into the Royal Rumble on Sunday. This was a fantastic go-home show. I know people don't like reunion shows. I know you don't like the overload of guests, but they were all used correctly. They were all used to put somebody over. The panel was great. The whole tag team thing you had going on there was like 9. Again, I'm going to say this the way I said it in the back with Miz and Mizdow. Let's look at who was in the ring for that Ascension segment. The NWO minus Hogan, the New Age Outlaws, the APA. Tag team history. If you take X-Pac out of the equation, the Wolfpack, the APA, and the New Age Outlaws. So you want to talk about DX? Do you want to talk about Diesel and Razor Ramon and their ties to Shawn Michaels? Do you want to talk about Bradshaw and all the different tag teams she was in? Do you want to talk about Ron Simmons in the APA, in the corporate ministry, in the Nation of Domination? So much history in that one ring, just centered on the Ascension. I fucking dare anybody that wants to say now, that are the big NXT defenders that say, oh, Ascension came to the WWE and didn't get given anything, I dare you to argue with this segment tonight. And with the match they're getting at the Royal Rumble. A Big Four pay-per-view against Hall of Fame-worthy tag teams, the New Age Outlaws. It's all fantastic. All fantastic. And the ones that are crying about Roman Reigns, he didn't even cut a promo tonight. Now, Daniel Bryan was the wrestling equivalent of an abortion and completely buried Bray Wyatt. But other than that, this was a great show, and I'm not going to let Daniel Bryan ruin wrestling for me. No, 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 no. Anyways, that being said, check me out on Connor's podcast. Check out Spaz and OKAYFABE Tackle coming this Wednesday to your inboxes. Put the questions down in the box below. Hashtag SPOK. Put your questions in for Ask the Phoenix. Put your questions and comments in on my fan participation video. All you guys are great. I've reached sort of the 520 mark. I just recently ticked over to 800 members in the Wrestling Realm group that I have on Facebook, which is down in the box below as well as it is on every video. Come check us out there. Lots of fun, lots of things happening. You guys, and the feedback you guys have given me in the latter end of last year and the beginning of this year so far are absolutely fucking fantastic. And I truly, and I'm not sappy that often, guys, you know this. I truly cannot thank you guys enough. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Any last thoughts going into the Royal Rumble? Please not Daniel Bryan. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.